Hello, this weekend we're going to do some pork belly burnt ends. This is a recipe that we have tried a couple of times before. It's very, very good. I keep doing these to try and perfect them because they always turn out good, but I'd really like to make them very, very good if I can. This one is, we're following Malcolm Reed's version on the How to Barbecue Right YouTube channel. I love his stuff. He's very, very good and he's really enthusiastic. So let's have a quick look at the pork belly we're going to use first of all. So got this from my local butcher from Grasmere in Stamford here. You want to try and get as fat a piece of belly as possible. I got a 4 kilo piece of belly yesterday and I chose the slightly leaner side of that, the leaner end for bacon, which I'm going to make over the next couple of weeks. And this is the fattier end. As you can see, I've cubed it up for this recipe. So you want the fattiest piece you can get, ideally. I've boned and skinned this piece out, and I've cut it into fairly large cubish chunks. So what I'm going to do next is get a rub together. So as if by magic, the rub is together. So this rub is a paprika-based one again. It's got dark brown sugar, salt, garlic powder, black pepper, chili powder, cayenne, onion powder, some chipotle as well, some ground cumin and some mustard powder. So it's quite an involved one, but it's well worth it. And I've stuck some in this shaker, make it easier to get onto the meat. So what I'm going to do next is clear the decks, get these onto a piece of greaseproof paper and get them rubbed up. It's all rock and roll, isn't it? Okay, ready for the rub. You can see I put these out here on a piece of paper to catch any of the rub. Some of these are more blessed with fat than others, but I didn't want to waste any, so I'm going to do the lot. So we're just going to give it a fairly liberal coating of the rub, and then we'll turn them around. Okay, so these have got a really nice liberal coating of that rub on every side. So if you want to take a little bit of a close-up on that, you can see that looks really tasty. It's very good, good enough to eat right there, but of course we're not because it's raw pork. The smoker is getting up to temperature, so it needs to be about 135 degrees Celsius as a cooking temperature, and we're going to leave these in the smoke with a bit of apple wood for about, I'm going to leave it for probably 40 minutes and then check it. Because these don't have very much fat on it, we need to be careful they don't dry out. We want the fat to render and we want the meat to be tender, but we don't want to dry it out. Pork belly is usually very, very forgiving anyway, but we're just going to make sure. After it's had the initial smoke, it's going to come out and get tossed in some butter. We're going to add some sugar, a bit of honey, and put it back in a pan with foil on the top. Going to cover it to make sure it's really soft, and then the last minute we'll give it a bit of a sauce and then put it in back in the smoker without the foil, and that should be about done. So we'll be about 4 or 5 hours, so we'll come back a little later. Okay, so these had about 15-20 minutes to sit and sweat in the rub. The fire's on at about 135 degrees in the smoker with the water pan in to stabilise it. So I'm going to put these in now, and so I'll check them after about 40 minutes and see how they look. Right, these have been in the smoke for about 2 hours. Let's take a look at them. Okay, so they are nice and soft, fairly juicy still. You can see they're very hot still, so risking my fingers here. But yeah, they're lovely and soft. They do need to be softer. So the next part of this treatment is that we will add some butter to this mix. This butter's a little soft, so it's going to be a little squirrely. Getting it in the tray here. So a bit of butter in there. And then we're going to put some sugar on. So we've got a bit of hot sauce in that coming up. That's going to get the glaze on after this. So it'll be a sweet and quite a spicy thing. And then we're going to put a good glug of honey on it as well, continuing the sweet theme. Might put another couple of bits of butter in there. Okay, and then we're going to bring it back in the smoker. First of all, we're going to cover it up. Okay, and we're probably going to give that another hour to an hour and a half, and the smoker is still at about 130 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to go and put that back in, and we'll see what it's like when it's ready for the next phase. Okay, so these have been in the smoke, and then they've had extra butter and sugar and syrup on them, and they were covered for about another hour and 20 minutes. So they're nice and soft. I have to be fairly careful with them because some of them are kind of falling apart, but they look really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain this off, and then I'm going to put it in this sauce. What's the sauce got in it? I can't remember.
It's barbecue, apple jelly and apple juice.
Thank you. So I'm going to drain this off, put them in this sauce, and then put them back in the smoker open, and that's the finishing touches. So I'm going to put this on, and we'll come back when we're finished in the smoker, just before we're about to serve. Okay, everything's done, so let's give it a try. So this is what it's looking like after it's been in the smoke again for another probably 15-20 minutes.
With the glaze on top.
With the glaze on it, yeah. So let's give it a go.
Good.
That is really, really good. That's awesome. That's the best one we've done.
Brilliant.
So we're gonna cut it there and have some dinner, if you don't mind. Tomorrow we're going to come back and just do a little bit of Côte de Boeuf, just give a quick video on that. But in the meantime, we're going to enjoy this. So have a cracking weekend, what's left of it, and we'll see you tomorrow.